press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello children, we have started a discussion on a very important topic of biomolecules. Correct? Biomolecules. Good. So we reached a discussion of reducing and non-reducing concepts so far. We talked about the cyclization, we talked about the ring formation like glucose. When it is added, when to this we adding toluene's reagent, we will see the positive test coming into play. How? Toluene's reagent in ammoniacal silver AgNH3 twice with oxygen state plus, and keep it in mind this reaction is happening in which medium? Basic medium. We'll get a positive test. Positive test is a confirmation for the precipitate of silver being made, right? Plus we will have some oxidation products coming into play. Similar way, when you have the same glucose and it is treated with Benedictus reagent or Fehlinger solution. Now, this again is in alkaline medium. We have water in aqueous medium, we have alkaline medium here. And keep it in mind, when you talk about the Benedictus reagent, it is Cu2 plus, Cu2 plus, which is complexed with Benedictus solution, it is complexed with citrate. And Fehlinger solution is again Cu2 plus, but now this reagent, Fehlinger solution or Benedictus solution or Benedictus reagent to be precise, it is attached to tartrate. So complex of copper citrate and copper tartrate in a basic medium, when you have a positive, when you have a aldehyde group present, we will get cuprous oxide Cu2, a red brick type or red precipitate will be obtained plus some oxidation products respectively. However, children, we have said yesterday that fructose, which is technically a ketone, we cannot use Benedictus or Fehlinger solution or Toluene's reagent to distinguish glucose from fructose. There is a reason for it, because fructose in basic medium converts to enol form. Fructose in basic medium converts to enol form, which can isomerize to aldehyde. So this aldehyde, as we have seen, will show the reaction with, in the basic medium it will show reaction with all the three reagents respectively, so it will also give a positive test. So it is very difficult to confirm on the basis of Benedictus reagent or Fehlinger solution or on the basis of Toluene's reagent with respect to fructose. However, keep it in mind, however, if there are some other ketones present, now except fructose, if there are some other ketone present, and we will be able to distinguish it on the basis of Toluene's reagent and Benedictus solution respectively. So with respect to fructose, there is an isomerization reaction, so some traces of aldoses are also present when we have pure fructose taken, because there is isomerization reaction coming to play, right? One reason. Second, sir, what is the basic fundamental to find out how to find out if given polysaccharide or given carbohydrate, to be precise, carbohydrate is reducing? A very simple question. Keep it in mind. The best solution to find it out will be to find out a hemiacetyl carbon. Any group which contains hemiacetyl carbon will be able to get converted from aldehyde to carboxylic acid. In simple words, it will get oxidized. Now we learned yesterday what's meant by hemiacetyl carbon. Carbon from one side has the ether linkage then it is attached to alcohol and has hydrogen as well attached to it. Then you can have side groups respectively. So this carbon attached to ether and OH is hemiacetal carbon with hydrogen attached to it. It will be hemiketal when you have got R, C, R. Instead of this H, if there is R, it will be hemiketal. So if it is hemiketal, reaction will not come into play itself. Am I clear? But as I said, in fructose, it is hemiketal form. When you look on the fructose main structure, it is hemiketal form. Rather than having hydrogen here, what's a group here? CH2OH. So you don't have hydrogen attached to this itself at all, right? So you don't get hemiacetal carbon here. Thus, fructose technically should be non-reducing. By what is reducing? I told you the reason for that. Why it is considered to be a reducing sugar? For that, I told you the reason. Am I clear with the basic postulate? Or am I clear or not? Now, if this particular carbon, when you look on the carbohydrates, children, more precisely, when you look on carbohydrates, you will find out in the cyclic structure of glucose, which we learned yesterday. How do we get the cyclic structure of glucose? We have C, double bond O, then you got H here, right? Then you have C, then you got again C, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you have at the end CH2OH. On this side you got OH at the right side, and this is OH here, this is H here. You got H, then you have OH, you have OH respectively. So this is H here, this is H. Keep it in mind. This is open structure of glucose. When it cyclizes, we learnt it. There is this aldehyde carbon, that is carbon number 1, cyclizes with carbon number 1, cyclizes with carbon 5. So it is cyclizing with carbon 5. One is that it will be shifted up, it will be a negative charge. Are you getting it or not? There is a lone pair of electron present on oxygen that will come and attack on carbon. Then what is the reaction system coming to play? It is O, it will be attached with H. The group coming into play will be cyclization is occurred or not. So you got oxygen here, or yes or no? This will be over, will get carbon. Look here, carbon linked directly to what? Carbon at what position? 5th carbon via oxygen. So you got the group here, this oxygen, got oxygen. Now have a look, attached to what? Carbon, attached to what? Carbon, which is attached to what? Carbon, attached to carbon, and then which group? This one, this is 5th carbon, right? This is 5th carbon. Then above it, what is the group here? We have CH2OH group, and you have hydrogen here. Now look on carbon number 1. On carbon number 1, it's on the right side, and we have learnt in Fischer projection and Haworth projection. In Fischer projection, the OH which is on the right, in the respective figure, in the respective Haworth projection, it will be denominated, it will be downwards. So we'll get OH here, yes. And what you got here? H, very good. Now look on the second carbon itself, it's on the left side, so it will go up here, it will come down. Then again third one, it will be up, it will be down or up? Down. So this is H here. Then the 4th carbon you got OH on the same position. Yes or no? This OH is already over, right? Right or not? This already is over. So you have CH2OH group going out. So we got now this one linked via carbon, it's linked to oxygen. It is double bonded to O. There is one more oxygen. It has bonded up. O will convert to OH. That's your additional stereo center. And we said yesterday, what? In glucose, what is this particular carbon called as? It's called as anomeric carbon. Because this form is which form? Alpha form. So one additional stereo center is developed on the basis of this reaction particular here. Or right here, children. This oxygen will donate electron clouds. So carbon is linked to what here? Via oxygen. And this carbon is also linked to O with a negative charge that can add hydrogens. This is how glucose can be converted to different properties and epimers as well. Yes, at different places, transportation or displacement comes into play, reactions come into play, and OH can displace its position from one place to other. Simple, basic intermolecular or intramolecular reactions coming to play. So here, stereo center is additional. Now have a look. Carbon attached to alcohol, carbon attached to ether, and then attached to hydrogen. So you have got a hemiacetal carbon. 100%. This will be reducing. Very simple. Why? Because in the medium this can open up, and once it opens up, it will be able to develop aldehyde again, and reaction will come into play, as we have seen in mutar rotation concept yesterday. Clear? Now if it is converted to, suppose this is the cyclic structure. If you convert this cyclic structure into a glycoside, glycoside means suppose you are treating this with methyl alcohol. When the reaction will happen, look what will happen, children. Rest of the things will remain same. But instead of this OH, you will get OCH3, then you will get H here. Now we have lost hemiacetal carbon here. So you don't have hemiacetal carbon now. Carbon, ether linkage, you have hydrogen also, you have O, but there is CH3 group. So opening of this does not result in the formation of an aldehyde. Opening will not be possible because bond strength will be altered now. So if it doesn't open up, it cannot be in equilibrium with what? Not in equilibrium with the aldehydic form. As a result of that, reaction of reduction will not come into play. So glycosides, and what is this link here? Carbon oxygen, this is called as glycoside bond. So glycostic bond. So this glycostic linkage in a glycoside, right? So it will not be a reducing. So if there is alteration at the hemiacetal carbon, you will not be able to bring into play the process of reduction into play. Sorry, you will not be able to bring the reduction into play itself. Oxidation of that particular aldehyde group to carboxylic group does not occur. And yesterday, one more important thing that we learned. These are extremely important things. Did you understand it or not? So now, this one, carbon 1, within glucose, carbon 1, you can have alpha form, and carbon 1, you can have beta form. This is which form? Pyran or furan form? How many members? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, including oxygen 6. What is it called as? It is pyran or furan? Pyran form of glucose. We call that as pyranose. We learned the name will be alpha D plus glucopyranose. Alpha on the base of anomeric carbon in glucose. Alpha D on the base of configuration with respect to the stereo center, farthest from primary carbon. Then we talked about plus, it is dextrorotatory, rotates the plane of polarized light towards right, and we know optical rotation of glucose is how much? Equilibrium optical rotation, because if you take alpha form or beta form, equilibrium optical rotation is how much? 52.5 degrees respectively. Clear? Good. So it is anomer can be drawn in which OH will be above, that will be beta D plus glucopyranose again. So in glucose, anomeric carbon is carbon number 1. So if anomeric carbon is not altered, usually you will have reducing properties coming to play. So in most of the monosaccharides which are not substituted, like it's not pentaacetate derivative has not been obtained from it, if it is not substituted, its glycoside is not formed from it, or amine derivative is not obtained from it, because children remember, it is these small carbohydrate units only which are attached to the proteins in the lipid layers, and those particular N-acetyl glycosamine, N-acetyl galactose, and different types of small carbohydrate moieties which are attached to proteins on the surface of the membrane, which act as cell markers and which act as markers in the form of O, blood group A, blood group B respectively. So they are all carbohydrate moieties present on the surface itself. Cell signaling that comes into play is because of these glycoproteins only. Glycoproteins are conjugated proteins. Proteins, in the first discussion, proteins attached to what? Carbohydrate part. We have similar way glycolipids. Are you getting the point here clear? Are you getting it? So most of the cell signaling phenomena that occur on the cell, like when there are cancerous cells growing at innumerous space, they have lost the process of contact inhibition. What exactly does contact inhibition mean? When the cells are continuously growing, and due to their cell surface markers, as the cell keeps on growing and these cell surface markers come maximum close to each other, it's a signal for the cell to stop growing now. So there will be no more growth. So growth will be restricted after that. But in case of the extreme high replicating potential of cancerous cells, what happens? One of the phenomena of this contact inhibition has been lost. Once contact inhibition is lost, the cells keep multiplying and growing numerously. So it's all these interactions of these small units on the surface of the cells. I said earlier, during the first discussion we discussed out that these are molecules of life. They are themselves non-living, but the interaction of these molecules is able to make living systems living. That means cells are able to survive and able to work because of the intricate phenomena happening between these biomolecules. This is all chemical analysis only, children. So in biological sciences, when you read biology itself, like you read about the central dogma of molecular biology, you read replication, transcription, translation phenomena, you read human physiology, you read plant physiology, everywhere in those discussions you will have these chemical interactions coming to play. So need to understand chemicals at its basic event. And one more thing, I have told you right on day one that a system has structure, governance, function, and you can see all those things here coming into play. So bond formation is what different types of reactions will come into play in different systems. Clear or not? So it is proved thus that we have got two formers which are anomers, alpha and beta are anomers of each other. They are optically active itself. I mentioned yesterday in my classes clearly. Now, what about fructose? What about fructose? And look here, glucose has got how many primary hydroxyl groups? 1. When you are treating this with the simple reducing agents, simple oxidizing agent like bromine water. So simple oxidizing agents like bromine water, you will find out aldehyde converts to carboxylic acid. Correct or not? However, if the strong reducing agent like nitric acid is used, we find when nitric acid treatment is given to what? This is what? Gluconic acid. When you treat this one with nitric acid, you find out, because when you are treating this glucose molecule with Br2, you will be able to get what? Gluconic acid. When you treat gluconic acid with NH3, both of these with HNO3, when you treat both of these with HNO3, so with Br2 it gives you gluconic acid. But when you treat this with HNO3, it will give you a biderivative carboxylic acid. That indicates, this also gives you the same reaction, indicating that there is one primary carbon associated with a glucose molecule. One primary carbon will be attached. Because reaction is exhibited with nitric acid by gluconic acid and glucose are same. And we know in gluconic acid there is one primary hydroxyl group. Similar way we can understand it from that elucidation, there is one primary carbon present in glucose as well. In fructose we have learnt out our facts clearly. Fructose is a iron or furan form, very good, in which there are two CH2 group or CH2OH groups going out at position number 2 and at position number 5, right? It's a furan form. There also you have alpha and beta forms. We cleared it yesterday very clearly. But when you look on fructose, it should be clear. When you look on fructose, there the anomeric carbon that we have is carbon number 2. And why it's able to show the reaction? I told you, because in basic medium, because children, toluene is reagent, Benedict is solution or filling is solution. All of these are prepared in the basic solution itself. It's part 4. Okay. So in fructose, when you do the diagrammatic analysis for fructose, anomeric carbon is carbon number 2. So there, what's the structure of fructose? We have learnt it yesterday. It is oxygen here. Cyclic form I'm talking about. So what is here? CH2OH. Naturally existing fructose is in which form? Beta form. So beta form means OH will be above. And you got which one? CH2OH. Yes. Here what is here? OH. H. Then you have OH. H. There may be alteration in the diagrams. So you got H here. If you want, you can draw that also. So it is CH2OH, then C, double bond O, 2, 3, 4, 5. At third position, OH is on the left side. Here it's O, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is again O. And then you got CH2OH. No need to mug up anything here. So remember that this glucose, the fructose form, can be found in the form of pyranose also. And if it is in pyranose form, carbon number 2 will bond up with carbon number 5. This is the reaction. Carbon 2 will bond up with carbon number, not 5, sorry. Carbon number 2 can bond up with carbon number 3, 4, also 5, also 6 also. If it bonds up with 6th one, then you will get pyranose form. If it bonds up with the 5th one, you will get furan form. But the naturally existing fructose is in furanose form. So naturally existing fructose is in furanose form. Furanose form. Furan, we have seen the diagram yesterday. Right? So we have a double bond structure like pyran. This is pyran structure. Okay, so this is what? Furan structure. Important. Now look on the carbon number 3 here. This is OH. It will bond up with this. CH2OH will go above the plane. So this is carbon number 1 for us here. This will be carbon number 2. It is bonded up. Now it's minus. OH will come into play. That OH can be on the right side or that can be on the left side. Now add carbon number 2. You have seen that OH, CH2OH and OH either above the plane or below the plane. You can see here. It will be here OH and it is H here. Then right. So on the right side, again very good. You got OH here and then you have CH2H, OH. So this is the structure for fructose. What is it? Beta, D or L? Fructose is in which form? L or D? Beta, D minus fructofuranose. Optical rotation, levorotatory. And what's the optical rotation of fructose? Tell me. It is minus 92.5 degrees. What's the optical rotation of glucose? It is 52.5 degrees. Clear or not? Now you can see that structure will come into play like this. This is now a simple analysis that we want to make. Now look on this, children. Do we have a hemiacetal carbon available in fructose? Let us see. Analyze this one. We got carbon here. Good. Okay, it is attached to OH on one side. Then it is attached to CH2OH. There is no hydrogen available at all. Then it is attached to an R link. Then it is attached to an ether link. Ether is there. OH is there. But there is no hydrogen available at all. So this is not hemiacetal. This will be a hemiketal group for us. Correct or not? Reduction doesn't come into play here at all. But as I mentioned out, Tollins reagent, Bandic solution, Fehling's solution, they all carry the process in aqueous medium, and this hemiketal is unstable in aqueous medium. It can isomerize and give you an aldose sugar, which will show the reaction respectively. Clear? Good. Now why whole of this story has to be mentioned out? When yesterday it was clear. Yesterday I gave it a basic clearance. Now I am able to talk more freely in terms of these disaccharides. The first disaccharide that we talked yesterday was which one? What was the disaccharide we talked yesterday? It was maltose. So what was the link in maltose? Recap. Link was alpha 1,4 link. What are both the molecules which are making maltose? Alpha D, gluco, alpha D plus gluco, furan or pyranose? Fast. Alpha D plus gluco, pyranose. Reducing or non-reducing? Reducing. You can see the diagram of a disaccharide yesterday which we have drawn. Yes? What was the diagram? Have a look. Diagram was like this. If you remember it. This is maltose. This is a diagram. We are just drawing the diagram so to find whether hemiacetal group is present or not. I said yesterday, maltose is a reducing sugar. So hemiacetal group should be there so that it can open up and come in equilibrium, and it can show mutarotation to be precise. It can come in equilibrium with its open form, provide an aldehyde which will undergo the reaction with silver mirror test, which will show the silver mirror test. So we got, I won't mention anything else here except these bonds. Is this a glycostic linkage or not? Yes. Tell me, which form was it? Which form of glucose? Alpha or beta? Quick. Which form? Alpha or beta? Alpha. So it's alpha D plus glucopyranose. This is also alpha D plus glucopyranose. So this is the attachment here. What is the group here? You got OH. What's here? H. Then there is carbon here. Have a look. Analyze this carbon atom, children. So when you analyze this carbon, attached to hydrogen, attached to OH, attached to ether, this is a characteristic of hemiacetal group. 100% this will be reduced, and that is natural only, because the carbon where anomerism is actually shown, which is carbon number 1. So anomeric carbon in this glucose is blocked, so it won't show reaction. It can open up and provide an aldehyde for the reaction to come into play. So that aldehyde converts to carboxylic acid and we will have a positive test. But here in this case it can open up. If it opens out, you can get your aldehyde back. Also the trace amounts of that will be obtained. You can get the aldehyde back, and that is enough for Ag plus to reduce to Ag, or Cu2 plus to reduce to Cu2O, in which the oxygen state of copper is +1. So we know when the number of unpaired electrons in a system change, the color automatically alters. That gives you the positive test respectively. Am I clear? That's why I said yesterday maltose is a reducing sugar. Clear? So today one more disaccharide that we are starting is, children, one more disaccharide we have is lactose. It's called as lactose. Lactose is present in milk. Okay. And children will suffer from a problem called as lactose intolerance. Which leads to curdling of milk in infants. Because when you look on lactose, keep it in mind, the basic structural unit of lactose is an important structural unit for cellulose as well. We will see that there. Now what is lactose made up of, children? Lactose is made up of beta D galactose. Keep it in mind, this is an epimer of glucose. Galactose is an epimer of glucose. Yes, along which carbon? Along carbon number 4. Because we have seen yesterday, in glucose, it is C double bond O, then H. This is OH. Then there is OH. Then there is OH. Then there is OH. Then there is CH2OH. This is Fischer projection for which one? Glucose. Add carbon number 3, OH is on the left side. When I say OH is on the left side, it means what? It means it's going upwards. So in the plane it's upwards. Now how do we draw the plane there also? That also is important thing to understand. So when you are drawing, suppose pyran or furan form, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, including oxygen 6, furan or pyran, pyranose form, right? In this case, usually this particular portion which is mentioned or which is shown in the bold manner is the plane towards us. This is technically the plane which is towards us. And if you want to mention down these bonds also, going out of the plane, going in the plane, according to Fischer projection, what we can show here is, so according to Fischer projection, if you want to mention it, this is above the plane or below the plane? This one. It is below the plane. Below the plane means going away from you, right? When it is going away from you, it should be mentioned by dash, like Doppler effect. Dash means bond is finishing off. This hydrogen is coming towards you, so this has to be mentioned by a wedge. Right? Bond line notation wise. Now if you show bond line notation in this case also, The one which is going downwards will be shown by dash lines, and the one which is coming upwards will be shown by the wedge. Correct or not? Did you get it clear or not? There is one more configuration that we can understand out, and you might have done it in your basic discussions of organics itself, like the concept of a boat and chair conformation, in which one? Boat is more stable than chair conformation because of axial and equatorial position interactions. Now, this is glucose, right? When you draw galactose for it, again that will be aldehyde only. You got OH here. Carbon number 3 OH and carbon number 4 OH are on the same side. Non-superimposable, non-mirror images. They are distereomers. So glucose and galactose. So you can see that position 2, they are differing in the relative position of OH along carbon number 4. So what are those called as epimers? But anomers differ in the relative position along a fixed stereocenter. In case of glucose, that is carbon number 1. In case of fructose, that is carbon number 2. Because we have seen it is carbon number 2 only that is showing the reaction in the fructose, right? Because ketone is present at carbon number 2 itself. You have seen that out very clearly in the diagrams. So anomerism with respect to fructose is defined with respect to carbon 2. So anomerism, anomeric carbon is C2 in fructose. Anomeric carbon is C1 in glucose. And for reducing and non-reducing properties to come into play, it is these anomeric carbon that play an important part. Right? So we have seen the diagrammatic analysis of this. So this is bond line notation that I mentioned here. So we have beta D galactose, which is an epimer of glucose, and we have beta D glucose. So technically lactose is a heterodisaccharide. For maltose I used the word homodisaccharide because that was made up of same monomeric units. Are you understanding or not? This is what biomolecules are all about, children. It's not that easy to read about a carbohydrate and say the important function of carbohydrates are dietary, and also it's a structural part like cellulose. Most abundant part of the carbon is found in the form of cellulose. Then you will have different types of bacteria will make use of these carbohydrates as their basic scaffold to make themselves stable against any external hard conditions. On the basis of that, you define gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria on the basis of cell wall interactions with the staining process, right? It is not that much only. Biomolecules, as I have mentioned many times in the classes as well, children, that when you start to learn things and you feel like it's going very easy and we are getting all things easily done, you should understand you are not running properly in science. Now, it is beta D glucose. This is heterodisaccharide for us. Diagrammatic analysis, let us do for it. I will first of all draw beta D galactose. It differs from glucose at position number 4. Very simple. Clear or not? It is beta D galactose. Beta means OH group will be above here. There is no doubt in this case. Because this is beta form of galactose. Alpha and beta form, right? This is beta form. Then OH here as usual, second position. Where it will be? Look there. It's upwards. Here it should be downwards. Yes or no? That one is glucose, right? That is galactose, correct or not? Here, which form? It is beta, right? So, what will be the position of OH here? Up or down? Sorry, here it is down and here it will be upwards. You can see that. Carbon number 4. Carbon number 4, OH above, and here also it is above. Now next carbon will be, as usual, it's downwards, not upwards here. Okay, is it clear? Further forward. Now this is beta D galactose. Now we have beta D glucose. In beta D glucose, diagram is quite simple. I'll draw it a bit far. We know that OH above H, will get OH here, H, then you will have OH here, H, then you will have which one? OH here or down? Down, OH will be up. What is this one? It is beta D glucose. This one is beta D galactose. Have a look on the positions. There is difference in carbon number 4. So what are these two? These two are epimers. Now, when the glycostic linkage between the two will occur, you have seen here that OH at position number 1, carbon number 1, is above the plane and OH at carbon number 2 is below the plane. So when the bond formation between the two has to occur, it is like this: OH above the plane and OH below the plane. When the bond formation between the two will occur by the loss of water molecule, the bond will be a crooked bond. An N type of bond will come into play. So that will mean OH and OH will produce a beta linkage, which will be a crooked bond, right? So of this pattern, bond formation between the two will occur. What it does is the twisting of the bond leads to the incoming of these two particular monosaccharides to come very close. As a result of that, enthalpy loss during this will be high. So when energy loss during this process is more, bond becomes stronger. And if you want to get from the milk, if you want to get this hydrolyzed, you want to get energy out from it, this bond needs to be broken. In kids, the enzyme lactase is not well oriented and well developed. Actually, with the passage of the time, there is a modification happening in the body. Initially, the bond which is pretty strong because of this bond link. Otherwise, if the glucose is given to the kid, say example, if we give glucose to the kid, he will be able to break it quite easily. Or yes or no? Glucose breaking can occur very easily. Not the bond which is present in lactose. So lactose intolerance in certain children, not in all, it is felt in certain children, and you can explain the anomaly on the basis of bond patterns itself. Right? Now, this was our anomeric carbon, C1. Here also anomeric carbon is which one? C1. You see that you do have hydrogen, you do have oxygen. So you have hydrogen also, oxygen also, but you do not have OH group. So it is not hemiacetal. So this first group, that is first beta D galactose part, does not contain any hemiacetal group at all. Thus it will not be reducing at all. But when you look on the second counterpart, there is OH also, there is ether also, and there is H also. That means this can open up and will be able to show the reducing property. Thus children, this particular lactose is also a reducing sugar. Is it clear or not? And when you look on cellulose, the basic repeating unit of cellulose is this one only. If you write this one, beta glucose. Which one? Beta glucose. We'll go forward and understand those patterns very well. So beta glucose is the repeating unit of cellulose, and what will happen? OH above. And at 4 position, OH will be below. So bond notation again will be a crooked bond. That becomes very difficult to break. Cellulases are not there in the human systems at all. Our gut does not contain such bacteria at all. However, termites and herbivores, different herbivores have got their cecum part which is very long. Their cecum part is long, and in that cecum part they have large harbor of different bacteria which are able to produce these types of enzymes. Thus they are able to break cellulose very easily. Am I clear or not? So everything that God has given, God has gifted, it's all natural process, and it's for some purpose, for some use, for some advantage itself, for in any living creature. Am I clear? Did you understand that clearly? Maltose, reducing. This is lactose. This is also reducing because of the presence of one free anomeric carbon, or technically a hemiacetal group is available for us for the reaction to come into play. Hope it's clear. Right? Now, one more disaccharide that we have is sucrose. Which one, children? Sucrose. Again the formula becomes, okay, tell me the individual formula for the disaccharide of maltose. Fast. Okay, then we have sucrose. Sucrose. It is made up of alpha D plus glucopyranose plus beta D minus fructofuranose. Now when you look on these alpha D plus glucopyranose and beta D fructofuranose, you can have a look a while earlier which we have drawn, that is lactose. So what is the link there? Alpha 4 beta 1, right? So beta 1 alpha 4 link. Beta 1 from where is attached? Galactose. And alpha 4 is from where? Glucose. But in case of sucrose, the link that is available is alpha 1,2 link. Let me show you the diagrammatic analysis. So we'll draw glucose for it first of all. Drawn, I'll mention only these carbons here. This is our CH2OH group. Anomeric carbon is carbon 1. Okay. When the bonding will occur, this is our fructose here. So we got here CH2OH group and you got OH group. You have which one? OH. This is alpha or beta form? Alpha or beta form. Have a look. Now see here, if you combine the two, what will happen? Just check out. When you combine the two, what is going to happen? So you have to eliminate water from here. Once you eliminate water from here, what will be the reaction coming into play? Just try to do it for some time, children. Quickly. Yes, children. So what is the group we have here? Alpha D glucopyranose. So the link is alpha 1. This is beta D fructofuranose. Sorry, this is alpha only. OH. Then you got CH2OH. It's alpha or beta form? It's beta form. In beta, OH is above the plane, right? Oh, correct or not? Okay, so you got OH here. Now when the water molecule will be lost between the two, what's the product we'll get? The product we'll get will be, I've just altered it, writing it downward so that diagrams will be clear. Otherwise, you can make the molecule to rotate down this side and you have to draw carbons like this. You have to draw carbon number 1, then 2, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on and so forth. Right? Okay. So the link between the two. Yes, here. It will be oxygen, glycosidic linkage as usual. Then, what's the group you'll get here? This is carbon, oxygen. It is fructofuranose, right? What is atom here now? Carbon, oxygen, carbon. So, you got which group here? CH2OH, then OH is linked here. Then again, as usual, the other carbons will come into play. Here it will be CH2OH respectively. Now this is our carbon 1, this is carbon 2, carbon 3, carbon 4, carbon 5. Now in case of carbon 2 was anomeric carbon for fructose and carbon 1 was anomeric carbon for glucose. So this link is alpha 1 beta 2 link. Now in this case, you can find out carbon 1, which is anomeric carbon, which can develop a hemiacetal group, and carbon 2, which can develop a hemiketal group here, which can undergo the isomerization and produce an aldose sugar later. This is not free, so they are bonded up. Neither anomeric carbon 1 will get free nor 2 will get free. As a result of that, none of these will be able to show the reaction. Thus, it will not give you any positive test with tolerance reagent or Benedict's solution. Thus, this sucrose is a non-reducing sugar, because no hemiacetal formation comes, like I said in glycoside a while earlier. So if the link is bonded up, hemiacetal formation is not possible, then then reduction properties will not be shown at all. Right? It will not undergo oxidation, it will not reduce the oxidizing agent itself. Alright? Now you can see that very easily. Carbon 1 and carbon 2 are linked. Carbon 1 from glucose, carbon 2 from fructose. And we know that carbon 1 from glucose is anomeric and carbon 2 from fructose is anomeric. So since carbon 1 and carbon 2 both anomeric carbons are bound by what linkage? Glycosidic linkage. As a result of that, what does happen? What will happen? It will not be able to reduce at all. One more important thing with respect to this is, children, that when you look on the optical rotation of the whole sucrose molecule, on the whole, you will find out optical rotation of this is dextrorotatory, means this sucrose rotates the plane of polarized light towards right. Sucrose is dextrorotatory, rotates the plane of polarized towards right. However, when hydrolysis comes into play, when you are breaking it, when hydrolysis comes into play, from sucrose you are getting glucose plus fructose. Right? What is the optical activity of glucose? It is 50 plus 52.5 degrees. And for fructose, optical rotation is minus 92.5 degrees. When you sum up the two, because we'll get a mixture of this in equal proportions, right? So when you break it off, you will get the net optical rotation of 40 degrees towards left. So it will be on the whole levorotatory. Actually, sucrose is dextrorotatory. But after hydrolysis, after you have broken this is also called as cane sugar. So the net optical rotation of glucose plus fructose becomes what? Minus 40. Actually, glucose plus fructose is dextrorotatory. But after dissociation, glucose will be separate, fructose will be separate. It will rotate it by 52, it will rotate it by 92. The net optical rotation is minus 40. This is the reason it is also called as invert sugar, because it inverts the plane of polarized light after it has been hydrolyzed. And there is this term of breaking of this breaking of this sucrose into two components is not called as hydration, because when you it's not called as hydrolysis. It is not called as hydrolysis, rather it's called as inversion, because it leads to the change in the optical activity of the net substance. Am I clear or not? So these are our, so again, hemiacetal, hemiketal groups developments are not produced at all. Free anomeric carbons are not there, thus it will be a non-reducing sugar for us. Clear or not? Is it clear with the disaccharide theory itself? Clear. So glycosidic bond everywhere. There is a crooked bond in lactose, which is made up of beta-D galactose and glucose respectively. So you can have a look on the diagrams and it will be more clearer for you, because once you, from the open structure, when you draw the closed structure, you will easily understand, and additional stereocenters are developed with the additional OH groups, right? And those additional stereocenter is a hemiacetal form. And if you convert this into acetal form rather than hemiacetal form, reducing properties will be automatically over there. Clear? Clear? Am I clear with the fact? This finishes the discussion with respect to disaccharides. Our next discussion, children, in biomolecules will be with respect to polysaccharides. Clear or not? Right. Read hard, children. Thank you.